Economic Freedom Fighters, that's the EFF, is tonight calling for President Cyril Ramaphosa to step aside with immediate effect after a 2020 robbery at his farm in Limpopo, in which it's claimed that around $4 million in hard currency was stolen. Now, this has led to claims of corruption, money laundering and racketeering, which have been brought against the president, at least through a criminal complaint made last week by Arthur Fraser. EFF leader Julius Malema says that his party has set up a legal team that will look into the options, basically, to force the president to step aside if he doesn't do so willingly.
The EFF therefore calls for Ramaphosa to step aside with immediate effect, because no policeman will investigate a sitting president who has violated laws in order to avoid justice. Ramaphosa has established himself as an individual who will go to a great length to avoid accountability, and he's continued to stay as a president while this matter is being investigated will jeopardize this case. The EFF has also assembled a legal team which will be led by Advocate Thembeka Nqubekani to look into the constitutional provision to have Ramaphosa step aside. The integrity of our nation is at stake, and the EFF will use all of its power to ensure that Ramaphosa pays for the crimes that he has committed in this country.
Well then, Ramaphosa has volunteered to appear before the ANC's Integrity Commission following those allegations leveled against him by former spy boss Arthur Fraser, the former intelligence boss. Let's talk about where the ANC is with this whole situation. We're joined by ANC NEC Member Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa. Dr. Ramokgopa, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for being on News at Prime tonight. So you've got the EFF saying the president of the ANC and the country needs to step down immediately, or they will explore other options to make that happen. Is the issue of President Ramaphosa possibly stepping aside in the interim one that the ANC is even entertaining at this point?
Thembekile, thank you very much for having me. I just and greetings and evening to your viewers. These allegations against President Ramaphosa are serious, and he himself and the organization are taking them seriously. However, we are also aware that there are processes that have to be undertaken, including also very serious and quite decisive processes from the ANC, and those are underway. And maybe I could say that this matter is sub judice for now, and is subjected to our own ANC processes. And you have heard the president himself saying that he takes this allegation seriously and he will cooperate with any investigation whatsoever.
So there's no conversation.
For now, we remain focused on the work at hand that needs to be done, and we look forward to this matter being expediently dealt with.
So there's no conversation internally about the president possibly stepping down in the interim as is going on? I mean, the UDM has written a letter putting forward a similar suggestion to the Speaker of the National Assembly.
I think it is in their right to try and capitalize, but I also want to take it that they take this matter, this allegation seriously, and we won't cast aspersion on them. However, we're calling on everyone to allow the due processes to take their process, the due process to take place. Thank you.
So the ANC says it would like to see due process given time to unfold, basically. When we spoke to Bantu Olomisa, General Bantu Olomisa, leader of the UDM last night, he said that the UDM has lost faith in the police's ability to conduct a credible investigation into this because of some of the details which have emerged around the handling of what happened in 2020 at the Phala Phala farm. Today, Julius Malema basically said that they have heard from reliable sources, basically, that there has been an attempt, allegedly, to force police officers in the area where this would have been reported to backdate statements and affidavits. What's the ANC's response?
Mbekile and also viewers, we have responded through Pulemabi officially on this matter that the ANC takes the matter very seriously, the allegations very seriously, and that let us allow the due process to take place, the investigations, and that I know that we also want this matter to be expediently dealt with. So is everyone else, and it is correct that this matter should not drag for a long time, and we trust that it will not drag for a long time, and that we will get to the bottom of it sooner than later. Yes, so I think I would like to leave it at that. Thank you.
And you're relying also on an appearance by the President of the ANC voluntarily before the party's Integrity Committee to get to the bottom of that. But the credibility of that very committee has already been questioned by some, saying it's being used to take a factional position and that basically the President of the ANC will receive sweetheart treatment. Do you think that's a fair position?
It can't be fair. The people who sit on the Integrity Committee of the ANC are men and women of integrity. Most of them are veterans of the ANC and have taken quite decisive positions, and they are respectable members also of society.
What it ultimately suggests, though, Dr. Ramokgopa, is that whatever outcome we get from the Integrity Committee internally in the ANC is likely to be divisive. Do you agree?
Not necessarily. I think the ANC has dealt with very difficult issues, and the doomsayers have wished the ANC to break apart, and the ANC has not broken apart but have stood firm on the question of renewal, on intolerance, zero tolerance to corruption and malfeasance, and we must continue to stand for what is right and what is good for all of us, without fear or favor.
But it's likely to be a very big issue for the President, especially in a conference year. I know you say critics of the ANC, but some of the questions about the credibility, for example, of the Integrity Committee are raised by members of the ANC themselves. So in a conference year, how concerned are you about the impact that the issue, the controversy around this farm robbery is likely to have on internal ANC politics?
What should guide us and what we strive to ensure guides us are issues of values, of principles, and of rebuilding the trust of the people in the African National Congress, and ensuring that the renewal project is firmly on track, and that all of us subscribe to the values and principles and subject ourselves to these through the institutions that are there, and also in our own personal lives, behavior and conduct.
You mentioned personal lives. I know you're playing a bigger role now in the ANC.
We welcome the fact that the President will present himself. He has already said so to the Integrity Committee. We will also there is also a process that will be underway based on our mandate from our branches from the 54th conference, that we must restore and uphold the integrity of the African National Congress. So we are determined to ensure that the ANC indeed refocuses on this rebuilding, renewal, and serving South Africans to the best of our ability.
And just on the issue, Dr. Ramokgopa, pardon me if I can come in there, because we've got about a minute left on the clock. I want to ask you about the issue, what you just raised there, serving South Africans, because a lot of time is spent on internal ANC drama. But let me ask you about serving South Africans. You're coming to the end of an 8-year term as Chancellor of the Tshwane University of Technology, a place where young people go to better themselves in the hopes of getting work. As things stand, when you look at the unemployment numbers in this country, it's an unlikely scenario for many. What do you think needs to change, even at policy level, perhaps, in government?
I must say I have really been humbled for being a Chancellor of the University of Technology, TUT, which since its establishment has produced more than 100,000 graduates in fields such as engineering, built environment, humanities, and also in cutting-edge fields such as tissue engineering, which are really future careers as well. I'm also very encouraged that I leave at the university after 8 years, much more stable. When I started, there was instability in management. We have had stability for this period, appreciation to the council and also to the leadership of the Vice Chancellor, who has just left, and the new Chancellor, who is new Vice Chancellor and Principal, Maluleke, Professor Tinyoko Maluleke.
Right.
We welcome him, and we believe that he will continue stabilizing the university. When I also started, the university was known for unrest, instability, high failure rates, and most of these areas the university has really improved. We also leave this institution having established what we refer to as the Institute of the Future of Work, which is bridging the problem that you are raising of the potential of a disconnect between higher education and the real world of work and the economy as such.
Right.
So there'll be greater collaboration with industry in that area too. So it has been a privilege to serve, and I wish the university well within its endeavors of developing the skill set for the future.
Thank you very much. Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa from the African National Congress, also outgoing Chancellor of the Tshwane University of Technology.